This perp back with another video, and I will be reviewing episode 4 of The Watchmen. And man, every time we get an answer to something, we get more mystery. We get new characters, more interesting storylines starting to flesh out. And I just don't understand the hate and the criticism towards this show yet. This might not be your typical Watchmen, but this is still Watchmen. You know, I don't understand it. I don't really look too much into it. And frankly, I just don't give a fuck anymore, because people are going to hate on this show regardless, even though it's well written. People will say it's trash just because it's not what they want. And it's just, I don't understand it. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe. I'm almost at 700 subscribers, so if you're new and this is the first time you're checking me out, definitely hit that sub button. Follow me on Twitter at perpminded420, and let's get right into this. So first of all, I like the title of this episode called "If You Don't Like My Story, Write Your Own." I think that's very telling on just all these different storylines that are going on in this show. But we get introduced to a new character named Lady Trieu, and she's like a trillionaire, and she goes to this family making them an ultimatum. And I'm honestly scratching my head, but I'm also like, I'm very interested to see how she plays into the overall story, because she might be a pivotal part on just what's really going on in this story. So then we catch up with Angela, and she's pretty much getting rid of the wheelchair, but also reflecting on just who she is and just everything that she has gathered over the last 3 episodes. You know, finding out who her grandparents are, and going back to the ancestry tree place, whatever, where she found out who her grandfather was. She finds out more information and her family tree and whatnot. And this is why I like this show, because, you know, it's about her finding out where she really comes from, finding out a lot of backstory she didn't know about, which is really interesting. You know, everybody wants to know where they come from. I find it interesting that Angela kind of doesn't want that. You know, she pretty much tells this hologram of her grandfather saying, like, leave me the fuck alone. But I feel like the more information she gets about her grandfather, and the more she finds out about this Will character, she's going to want to find out where she's come from and just her whole background, which leads her running into Laurie. Because if you saw the last episode, at the end of it, you know, Angela's car fell out of the sky, and now her cover's kind of blown a little bit. It kind of confirms that Laurie knew the whole time that she was Sister Night. And I really like these two's interactions with each other. I feel like as time goes on, they'll learn to work together. So then we catch up with Looking Glass, and based off next episode's previews, he's kind of the conspiracy guy and into the conspiracies, because he's got this whole red room filled with photos of the squid, and I'm really curious to see what they do with his character. But Angela pretty much asks him to do her a favor and find out what these pills are, the pills that Will was taking, but also gives Looking Glass the chief's clan outfit and tells him to hide that so, you know, Laurie doesn't find it. So then we get a scene of Angela disposing of the wheelchair, but then she realizes she's being followed by this weird guy in this this suit. Ends up getting away into the sewers, like literally sliding into the sewers. It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life, but it's going to be interesting to see who that character is. But then Angela runs into Senator Kane, and I don't trust this Senator Kane dude. I think he's up to something shady with the 7th Cavalry, which I'll have to wait and see. So now The Chief's replacement ends up being Laurie, and Laurie also tells Angela that Will used to be a cop. So will that make Angela want to dig even deeper into who Will is? Speaking of diving into people's past, Angela learns that Laurie's parents used to be in the Minutemen, and I find that very interesting that this whole episode is just very family based and has a lot to do with family. So they roll up on Trieu Industries, or where Lady Trieu does her business at, and we come to find out that Laurie and Angela are really trying to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. Come to find out that this Lady Trieu chick bought the company from Adrian, so I really am curious to see how this all ties in. Speaking of which, we catch up with Adrian, and this turns into the weirdest shit, because you think he's like fishing for fucking crabs, but he ends up pulling out these babies, and this is where I'm assuming the clones are coming from. But he also mentions that I am your master, but I am far from your creator. So I'm wondering if this has something to do with either Lady Trieu, or does this have something to do with Dr. Manhattan? Probably with Lady Trieu and stuff, and maybe that's where he's stuck at, because it is confirmed that he is pretty much trapped in his prison. It's been 4 years, and very interesting stuff. So he's trying to escape, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. Going over to Angela and Calvin. Calvin's a really interesting character. Don't know really much about him, and it's been 4 episodes, but we see that he doesn't really believe in a god or none of this alternate reality stuff, and that seems to be a big theme in this show overall. A lot of mystery, a lot of things going on in the background that nobody really knows about. Some people just don't believe in none of this stuff, and he just kind of feels left out of Angela's life, and she's not upfront with him about everything, and is hiding certain things that she's doing. So I don't know, man. We're just going to have to see. I don't think that's going to play a huge part in the overall story. I just think that's just something Calvin's dealing with as being a stay-at-home dad. I'm assuming, because it doesn't seem like he has a job or anything like that. I could be wrong. So the episode ends with Trieu's daughter waking up from a nightmare, and the way she's describing this nightmare has gotten me thinking, is her and Angela's character connected in some way? And why is Will there? What is his purpose? What is this plan that these two have? Why does Trieu's daughter call Will Mr. Reeves? What is really going on here? And I just love the mystery, and they're just always keeping it interesting by throwing us these curveballs. But next episode seems like it's going to be very, very Looking Glass based off the previews, and we're just going to get more information on certain characters and really start to get to know what's going on. But I enjoyed this episode from start to finish. I'm loving this series. What do you guys think about this episode as a whole? Did you like it? Are you not feeling it? Let me know in the comments below. Until next week, I will see y'all later. Peace.